to Own It, Your Business and Your Life with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Morning, girl. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Been thrown into a bit of a fluster.
Okay, tell me.
Well, you know this mastermind I'm going to has got a large...
No. Roll back.
Okay.
Is that Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas. Mastermind.
Okay.
I've just found out that Marisa is one of the guests and speakers.
Oh, cool.
I know, along with Marianne Williamson. I mean, how good is that?
Well, Marianne's running for president.
Yeah, I know. That's mental, isn't it?
Well, it's a bad decision on her part. I'm so sorry to have to say that because I am a long fan. But it'll destroy her, unfortunately.
Well, thrown into the cut and thrust and nasty.
Well, I think she's quite cut and thrust anyway. She's quite commercial. She's been around the block a lot. She's quite steely. But politics is another, shark-infested pond altogether, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lovely idea, that the women we adore and admire could make a difference at the top level. And there is some evidence they're making a difference at the lower level. But, oh, God, the personal expense of, I don't mean money, the personal cost, of what you, horrid. but lovely, good speakers and two top women on the stage. Any more women on the stage?
Well, there's quite a few others here, but I didn't recognise their names. But the other people that are going to be, some of the other people are going to be there. Alex Mandosian. Now, that's a name that should ring a bell because he invented the first ever software where you could ask people things. I think it was called Ask.
Yes, I do remember his name, actually. Yes.
And it was when everyone was, thinking up strange niches and becoming, when I was a guinea pig whisperer, you'd send all your Google AdWord traffic to his software and it would ask what's the one biggest thing.
Oh, it was called AskSomething.com. I remember, yes.
Yeah. And it pulled out all the keywords so people answered the question in their own words.
Yes.
The keywords, yeah.
It was a good tool. Was it free?
It was very affordable, I remember.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. Do you mind if I'm quite chatty today?
No.
I tell you what it reminds me of. There were people I tried to teach that to, about writing an ebook and blah, blah, blah. And no matter what you thought the internet would be interested in, it wasn't. They were always interested in something else. Like, I had a friend who was convinced, guitar lessons. No, not interested in guitar lessons. They're interested in guinea pig whispering or something completely that somebody, you could never sit in your chair and think, oh, I know what the world wants. No, they don't. They want something completely different.
Exactly. And it's always really annoying. It's the same when you do keyword research now. Best way to do that is just to go to google.com and then wait till you've got that middle box and start typing what you think they want.
And it auto-completes, doesn't it? Yeah, I know. It's madness.
But no, honestly, I will go girly fandom all over Marisa because...
When are you off to this gig?
I fly from Kalamata to Gatwick tomorrow. I'm in Gatwick for a few hours, and overnight, in fact. I thought about putting out a call to see if anyone wanted to come and consult with me. I might do that, yeah. But it's because it's Phoebe's birthday today, but she says, don't bother coming down, Mark, because I probably won't be in any state to talk to you.
No.
So I'll see her in a week's time. But,
right. So you're staying in Gatwick for a few hours and then you go to Vegas tomorrow?
I go on Sunday. I'm staying overnight in Gatwick. Okay,
Vegas Sunday. And then how long are you there?
8 days.
Oh, okay.
8 days of sheer full-on partying.
Honestly, it only feels like you've just got back, doesn't it?
I know. It does feel too soon to be going. But especially as summer's really hit here. This week has just turned glorious here. It's you always think it's glorious, then it gets more glorious, then it gets even more glorious.
And who is organising this mastermind? Is it one of Pete's?
Yeah, it's one of Pete's, exactly. And
marvellous.
But I'll tell you who's doing all the actual organising this year is Paul and Philly Fugel.
Oh.
Yeah, so they've done an awesome job of it. They're very organised. Pete's a chatter, not an organiser. He's
a networker. Yeah.
He is, yeah.
So,
but no, they've been backing him up behind the scenes and doing an amazing job. And they've just got some incredible. I mean, ClickBank is sponsoring the tour, the yacht tour around Lake Las Vegas, and so there's some really heavyweight speakers, really heavyweight sponsors. It's growing into a force of nature beyond itself.
How many people?
110.
Oh, brilliant. And I didn't know there was a Lake Las Vegas.
No, I know. Neither did I till I got on it. It's obviously man-made.
I was going to say, it's in the middle of the desert, isn't it?
Well, it's in the middle of the desert, but you know how much waterfront property commands, so they had to make some.
So they made some, yes.
That's what I love about Vegas. It's human ingenuity at its finest.
At its naffest.
Yeah, at its naffest and its finest.
Yes, it holds no appeal for me whatsoever.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'll enjoy it for both of us.
Yes, well, yeah. Get double rations, but you won't be enjoying it for me, love.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else has been happening? I managed to grind out 500 words, which I promptly entered. I ran past the Right Club ladies, and they gave me some really good feedback, and then I entered it into the Telegraph competition just back.
I love this about you. It's so funny. I ground out 500 words. I banged it into a competition.
Well, why not? You know.
Oh, well, I agree.
They send you £200 in cash if you win.
What's it called? Just back.
Just back, and someone has to win every week. So.
And where are you just back from in this story?
Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote about the sounds of the night in Sydney.
So it's not fiction. This it's
no, it's a travel piece.
Yeah, marvellous.
I know. I'm not bad when I get going, am I?
Yeah.
But it was. Yeah. So I'm writing again. I feel I've broken the back of that resistance.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Anything else about your week you want to share?
No, I'm just too excited about this week.
Oh, I've got loads to share. Pin back your lugholes, love. Greetings, first of all, from Bedfordshire.
Oh, Bedfordshire, Jesus.
Yes.
You've been that far north before?
Yes, I have. I was here for a week late last summer, staying in the house of a client friend. And she just let me have her house for a week. She was away on a holiday, and the dog went with her, so I didn't even have to do any dog sitting. There's a strange thing about Bedfordshire. I mean, it's only an hour north of London. You have to go around the M25 and up the M1 from where I was yesterday. But as soon as I got on this, I'm staying in what my parents would rather snootily have called a modern box. But it is very spacious.
Oh.
I mean, I haven't had this much space. It's not a big house. It's 3 bedrooms. But, you know, the downstairs landing, the upstairs landing, the living room, the bedroom, they've all got room if you wanted to sort of lie down and do yoga or something, or country dancing or something. And I haven't stayed in a house with that much space since I left Kent Easter last year. So 14 months since I've been in anything so spacious. And it's not, you know, you wouldn't buy a modern box thinking, oh, they're so spacious, but it's very well arranged space. And for a woman who is tall at 5'9" and wide and got very long legs and long arms, I need more space than most people to do things like getting out of bed, because I just need more space. You know, I'm not a tiny little slip of a thing. The woman that owns this house is a tiny little slip of a thing, but it's just nice to be. I just realized how luxurious space is. And so in no particular order, because I'm feeling a bit discombobulated, as you can probably hear, in the last week, it was my birthday. I turned 64. It was fantastic. I had a marvellous birthday card from my brother, who totally got my number because it used the F word on the front in a brilliant, funny way. Okay, so second bullet point, nice thank you note from nephew, where I did the house sitting and the looking after the cat. Then my birthday treat to myself was 4 lovely days in a country cottage, which I booked in a bit of a hurry and didn't notice that it didn't have either a dining room table or a desk, which meant I couldn't do any work at all. Had to just fiddle about on iPad, so that was rather good. Also couldn't wash my clothes because the washing machine was in an outhouse. And as I agreed with Alice in a call this week, who wants their washing machine outdoors?
Well, outhouses equal only one word for me.
Well, yes, the S word. But, I mean, I don't think there would have been any S's, and I'm sure it was probably quite nice out there, but I like to wash my clothes overnight, or when I'm down to my last pair of knickers and I've got, you know, I'm not suitably attired to go out to the outhouse.
No.
Anyway.
Well, I suppose you have to do what you can with space, but I've got to say I wouldn't fancy it.
No, quite. Anyway, so that was, but both of those were my fault for not paying attention. I don't pay enough attention to any small print or, you know, anything. Somebody said to me, what's your house like? I went, I don't know, I haven't had a look yet. I'll send you a link. You know, I booked it without paying sufficient attention, but it was only 4 nights, which was lovely. Anyway, I've done lots of driving about in the sunshine. I went on marathon day. I went from Brixton south to Sussex and then north yesterday to Bedfordshire. And I've discovered, I'm chuffed to bits with this, that tunes about, you know, lovely day and everything's always working out for us and all that. I mean, proper tunes from, Happy and all those lovely vibe tunes that we like. And somebody said, can you make me a playlist? And I thought, all right then. So because I was on holiday for 4 days, I cranked out Spotify, which I'm not really, I use it at my brother's house when I'm a DJ at Christmas, but I don't really have it on any of my things at home. So I downloaded it. And then, brilliant this, I discovered that Waze, which is my sat nav maps app of choice, plays nicely with Spotify. There was on the Waze map reading thing, there was like 2 musical notes. Like, ta-la, I pressed it and it went Waze, which means that my problem I had before, if you remember, because I'd never listened to anything in the car if I was map reading because I couldn't hear it. Well, it does the proper thing that you want on your car radio, which is when it's going to tell you the directions, it turns the music down because the 2 of them are synced. Waze and Spotify sync.
Wow. Okay, good.
Well, that's quite exciting. So all the day yesterday in the sunshine, driving, which I love, I was singing at the top of my voice to these high vibe tunes, which is probably why I'm a bit spacey now. Now, all my PPI funds are in and cleared in the bank, which has cash flowed me all the way through to August. Wow. Consequently, I had a little online shopping spree when I got here last night because Gareth's got a 30th birthday party on the 19th. I've already had 2 notes this morning saying the goods are on their way. I mean, online shopping is fab. But the exciting thing about the missed check, remember the missed check that went missing for 7 weeks?
No, I don't.
Well, the PPI check had 28 days to arrive and it didn't. So I reported it, and then they've got 21 days to send you another one. Well, that's 7 weeks, which played merry hell with my cash flow. And so when it finally arrived last Friday from London, like a proper Londoner, I sent a bike for it. Down to my virtual office, to make sure I had it in my hand and got it in the bank. Yeah. But I've saved the best bit for last year. I don't know whether it's the best bit. It's the most interesting bit of my week, which was about 48 hours, halfway through the cottage stay and anticipating coming to Bedfordshire on Thursday, I got a message to say that Jack, the 19-year-old cat, had been put down.
Oh.
His dementia had got worse and she'd taken him to the vet and they'd taken the decision to put him down. Well, of course, she hired me to come and stay here for a month of May because of Jack, who had to have 5 meals a day, 3-litre trays, 3 water fountains, and do you remember? And 2 medicines. And I was really anxious about it. So while I'm sad for her, it makes my stay here very much better. So, for instance, when my nephew said, come to my party on the 19th, I said, I don't think I'll be able to because I have to feed the cat 5 meals a day and I don't think I can be away long enough. But, of course, that's no longer an issue. So it sort of freed up my life. I hadn't realised how trapped I was feeling by the thought of having to stay indoors and keep this cat alive. And actually anxious about keeping the cat alive. And now it's not my problem. So that's been lifted off my shoulders. So that's a whole sort of vomit of what's happened in my week on you there, Nicola.
Nice. Thanks for that. I was very busy through part of that, finding and following you on Spotify. So.
Well, I could say, you could say I was very busy. I've had a very busy week, which included my birthday. Now, tell me what has fueled your fire.
Oh, I've been resisting the temptation to set up another agency.
Oh.
Just specialising in chatbots.
Now, stop. What has fueled your fire? The resisting or the setting up?
Well, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm okay. Completely not going to do it. But I'm so enamoured with chatbots, and I'm so convinced that chatbots done well is the answer to the email reach and opening problem. I was looking at one of my clients is getting a 20% open rate, which is really good. I do better because I do a 2-stage sending process. So if anyone's listening, you might want to try this. My email list number codes people by how responsive they are. How many of your emails they open, how many they read, how many they click through. So they get a score on responsiveness. And I send my newsletter every week to the people who've got a score of over 50.
And that gets you a better open rate in effect, doesn't it?
Yeah, but then what happens then is that Gmail
deliver the emails. Yeah, good one.
Deliver more of them.
Yeah,
send out the rest. So,
yeah,
and they're less likely to put it in things like promotions or whatever.
Yes.
So that's a good trick. But
that's a good trick. Absolutely. I hope people understood that because I think probably most mailing, whatever we call them, mail list things allow you to do that. That's a good
lead
tip.
Scoring, it's called.
Yeah.
So look for lead scoring in your mail.
Yeah.
And I get something like a 60-70% open rate on the first 200 that go out. and then I get something like a 36 to 40% open rate on the rest.
Yeah.
Whereas most people are just getting 16 to 20% now. So that's a good one. But, chatbots, you get a 100% open rate, and you get something like an 85 to 90% click-through rate. So I do think that, as we go forward, they're going to become more and more important. And I was thinking, if I could get my head around them now and then train someone to do it. But then I was lying in bed. This is the ironic thing, right? I was lying in bed at about 9:15 thinking I don't have to get up till lunchtime. But I was thinking about a new business, which is a hilarious thing. And then I thought, no, Nicola, just be a consultant. Just be someone who tells people what to do, and then puts them in the right direction of people who can do it for them. Do not become the person who can do it for them, because you hate that.
You do hate that, yes. Can I tell you, let me tell you something very interesting about chatbots, if I may, apart from the fact that I loathe them, which I told you last week.
Yeah.
But Marisa Peer, her team used them really well. I nearly joined her team, do you remember? Because Paula MacArthur is involved in her marketing. And they misunderstood when I said, I like to be the person that support. You remember we did it? I tried to do it with Bernadette Doyle, and I tried to do it with John Richardson.
Yes.
Where I'm the forum group,
coach.
Person. Yes. Yeah. And they misunderstood. The Marisa Peer organisation misunderstood. They thought I wanted to be on their pre-sale team, not their post-sale team. Oh. And Paula said to me, "You'll just have to learn how messenger bots work." This was quite a long time ago, like 18 months ago. And she said it brings us in all our business, and we do really well with them. So you'll have something you can discuss with. You'll probably see Paula. I imagine she's with Marisa, but you'll have something to discuss with Marisa, because she uses it in her business really effectively, and she and her husband are top marketers.
Yes, they are. Yes, because he used to run something in the music business.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to meeting her, because I am a customer of hers, so I can say that genuinely. And I have listened to quite a few of her meditations.
I remember, and you found the first one really powerful and recommended it on the podcast.
Yes, I did. Yes. So, it's going to be a thrilling week for me, that's for sure.
Yes.
I try not to, gush and go fangirl.
I don't think it really matters, to be honest, does it?
No, in that sort of environment, it doesn't. No.
Well, and also when people have gushed on us in the past, do you mind? I don't.
No, I like it. So chatbots and trying to resist setting up a new business.
Well done. Let me be the first to say well done. In fact, we should probably put in a step here where whenever you're thinking of doing that, you should call me first, and then I can just say, no, Nicola, no.
No. Good point. What's fueled your fire then?
A gush. Two. I've got two things in here. One is a gush. Yesterday, I think it was, or it might have been the day before, the brother of a client sent me, when I was growing up, my parents used to listen to Terry Wogan on the radio, and Terry Wogan was very funny. He had a lot of very funny ways he used the English language, which I've kind of assimilated. And he used to say, a letter has flooded in. An unsolicited testimonial has flooded in. And I'm not going to say the name of the chap, because he didn't know he was going to be on the podcast today, but it says, "Dear Judith, I just wanted to send a quick note to say I love your posts." This is on Facebook. "You always post such great stuff, and also when you got me into tapping and the Brad Yates videos when I was having such a tough time a few years ago. I still don't tap enough, so we'll look to address, but in the meantime I felt like reaching out and sharing my gratitude for you being here. I hope you're having a great day and wishing you a great rest of the week." When that comes from nothing at all, that somebody who's never paid a bean but who is a connection enjoys the effort you're going to, and it makes a difference in their lives, that's it's moving.
I think it's fairly major, actually.
I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you. Now, I've got a second one in here, which is more techie, which I think you might like. It's an app I've discovered through one of my financial forums, and it's, in my opinion, it's been misnamed Discord. Do you know what Discord is?
It's when things are not working together.
No. I mean, do you know what the app is? Do you know what the app was? Discord is almost exactly the opposite of the app. Sorry, is almost exactly the opposite. It's about bringing people together, which I think is quite funny, and it is a very it's a very useful app. It says it's an all-in-one voice and text chat for gamers that's free, secure, and works on both your desktop and phone. And it says it's time to ditch Skype and TeamSpeak. I don't really know what TeamSpeak is, and simplify your life. But it's like a membership site forum. It's free, and it's got a marvelous sense of humour. You know how MailChimp sometimes sends funny messages. Let me tell you what it says. When you press it, every time it gives you a new message, which is absolutely meaningless. It says, I press abstracting the rummage disk is what it says while it's opening itself up first time. And then it just always gives you some, totally bizarre message. Let me do it again, see what the next one is to give you the gist of it. Come on, baby. You can Oh, it's stopped now. Anyway, but it's got a sense of humour. And you can have rooms, and you can have friends, and you can have members, and you can have recordings, you can have video, you can have audio. It's free. It's absolutely free. And I probably wouldn't have a use for it anymore in my business, but I can think of a use I would have had for it in the past. It would replace, for instance, in my business, it would replace Facebook groups and the way I talk to people on Facebook chat or Skype in the olden days. We could store information in there. They can all chat to each other. They can have profiles in there. It's just brilliant. Anyway, free. And we use it like a forum. It could be, you could even use it like a membership site, and it's fun. Anyway, so there you go. Discordapp.com.
Yeah. So, we can't get into a deep discussion about it, but I just wondered how it differs from WhatsApp that everyone seems to love so much.
Well, I don't know what you do in WhatsApp because I've got a smartphone, and you have to have a smartphone in order to get it on your iPad. Don't people just use that for sort of looking at each other whilst they chat?
No, they don't. They use it for voice messages. That was how it started.
But you couldn't use it for 1,000 people, could you? Because people couldn't find the stuff they're looking for. This is like a membership site. You file things in places and so forth.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have a look.
It's got different rooms. Now, it was invented for gamers. Obviously, I'm not a gamer. Neither is the man that I'm following a gamer. But I don't know. Anyway, it's good. I like it. But, we recommend lots of things on here. Once my need for this has finished, I'll probably never use Discord app ever again. But I'm glad I know it exists because it's an option for people starting membership sitey forum-y things.
Yes. Yeah, I'd have to see. I'm so visual. Unless I see something like this, I can't see how it would work or how fit.
Well, then it's free. You sign up. Well, actually, no, you can't because you won't be able to join somebody else's. You need to join somebody else's thing to see how it works. Because although I've opened one for me, I did that by mistake. I've just joined somebody else's forum on it, and it's a way of getting a lot of information in easy ways. It's filed, so it's easy to find it. There are moderators, so you've got to behave in certain ways, and then in between people can just chat and they can file the topics on which they're chatting, so you can find it easily again.
Yeah. Oh, that's better than everything else, isn't it? Including Gmail, because you can never find anything in Gmail. Well,
it's brilliant, and also that it's quite well moderated. So it says you've got to do this in there and that in there. They call them rooms, but it's like a filing cabinet. It's a bit like how I operate the emails that I file. Down the left hand side in a file under a skeleton where you got to Right, so it's time to introduce our focus of the week, which is a guest. Yay! And by the way, Nicola, it's the last of the 4 that we recorded earlier in the year, so we really need to get some more. I'll try and organise that. I tried to talk somebody into one last night. Now, it's Karen Flannery, who only 2 weeks before I bullied her into becoming a guest, had only just, I think, flagged herself to us. I don't know how long she'd been listening, but she sort of joined up the Facebook group and was on the podcast faster than she could say knife. Yeah, and she went from teaching to retail as they bought 2 lingerie shops. And in fact, I'm not, as she describes in the interview, I'm not even sure whether they would call it retail because they think of bra fitting as a service business, which is quite interested. Did I say boobs, babies and business? If I didn't, I'm saying it again. Her website is shopfoundations.co.uk, and she tells us the story of how she went from being a teacher to buying these shops in Cheshire with her friend Kate, who one day phoned and said, "Do you want to sell bras?" And they were off on their next adventure. Yeah. And she describes to us how losing her parents, getting married and having children and expressing her inner entrepreneur led to this massive change of career from one she loved to something completely different, and why she grabbed that opportunity. The 2 of them, Kate and Karen, are passionate about the benefits of a well-fitting bra, and their shops focus on fitting customers, especially younger women, for lingerie, swimwear and nightwear. Hello, Karen. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Marvellous. Welcome to Own It, the podcast, and be careful what you wish for by talking to me in our Facebook group only a couple of weeks ago.
That's it, I know.
You've been elevated to greatness immediately. Somebody that chats to me, I go, "Do you want to be on?"
I know, I'm a bit starstruck today, I must admit.
Now, you're the lady we talked about a couple of weeks ago who's got 2 lingerie shops, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Good. Tell us about your business, you and your business, and then we'll get into your topic after that.
Okay, so I own 2 lingerie shops in Cheshire, one in Nantwich and one in Congleton, and I own them with my best friend Kate, who I met through teaching, which I'll get to later. And we own the 2 shops. We bought one in 2015 and one in 2016. We're just kind of learning lots, and we sell beautiful lingerie, swimwear and nightwear, and we're really more about the fit and getting people to feel amazing about themselves. So it's not just coming in and buying a product. The products we sell, some are available online, but we are all about being that specialist that can make women feel amazing with themselves, and spending time with each and every customer to make sure that we get them exactly what they need and exactly what they want.
And are they letting you know that that's what they want too, Karen?
Yes, generally people that come into the shop want to be fitted, and we've got a really good reputation because the shops, we bought them and they've both been established for over 25 years. We've got that customer base and that reputation that we've managed to kind of keep going, and that people come to us because they know that we know what we're doing.
Yes.
And you can't get that in other kind of high street retailers and online. You can't get that kind of that fitting service to make sure that it's going to be the exact right thing for each individual.
And I think from a visit myself to Rigby and Pella, the one thing you learn is you have no idea how to fit yourself for a bra, do you?
No, and I think there is a figure kind of floating around there that 80% of women are wearing the wrong bra size, but we definitely get people that come in and are shocked when we tell them the size. And it's not necessarily about giving people that label of a size, because they may be one size in one product and another size in another supplier, another brand. So it's sometimes we don't even tell them the size, we just get them fitted, and then when they ask, we tell them. Yes,
perfect. And what are the shops called?
They're called Foundations.
And is that your website too? Yes,
the website's www.shopfoundations.co.uk.
Shopfoundations.co.uk. Okay.
Yeah, we're on Facebook as well, and Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, so and we get quite a lot. We do get quite a lot of customers kind of ringing up that don't live in our local area. That we've got through Instagram and Facebook and things, that they're regular customers now, and they know what fits them, and we've worked with them to get something that we know fits, and then.
Now, you bought these shops. What did you do before?
Well, me and my friend Kate that I own the shops with, we were both primary school teachers. So, we want to hear that story. So I'll give a kind of a basic history of myself. So I'm originally from Aberdeen, and I came to Cheshire in 1999 to go to university to study music and dance. Always knowing I wanted to be a primary school teacher, apart from when I was 4, when I wanted to be Tina Turner for a short period of time. I decided that I always wanted to be a primary school teacher, but I loved music and dance, and that's what I wanted to do before I went on to do my teaching degree. So I did music and dance, then I did my PGC, and I was a teacher, primary school teacher. I love kids, love working with kids, specialised in special needs and the arts. Had a few roles, was a special needs coordinator for the local area, moved schools, went back to my original school where I met Kate. So I kind of started at one school, did a few jobs, and then went back. And it just was getting increasingly difficult. It was the hours you have to put in. You're always told you're not good enough. I mean, I was an outstanding teacher, which is the highest grade. And even then you'd be like, oh, could you just do this next time? Or could you just try and do this next time? And it just was relentless, and it just wore me down. And then within 2 years of, I lost my mum and my dad. And it just kind of put things into perspective. I just suddenly had this like light bulb moment of, why am I killing myself to please somebody else? Like, it just seemed so silly that I was always being told I wasn't good enough, and I was literally killing myself. I was ill every holiday, didn't see my boyfriend at the time, so I just decided that I was getting married, I wanted a family, I was going to leave. So I when my mum died, I just kind of took a couple of weeks off, which was unheard of for me, and it just reevaluated and just handed my notice in to finish that summer. Kate had two children, and she'd started up a messy kind of play business for children, like a class. And so she said, why don't we do that? So from teaching, I went and I did this messy play class for babies and children, which was great fun. But we soon realised that the market's pretty saturated in this area for baby classes, and it wasn't going to make us any money, which we needed, because I'd left teaching. So, and then I fell pregnant, and it was increasingly difficult to set up the classes, tidy up after the classes. So around Christmas time, so I did it from September to Christmas 2014, and I decided this just isn't gonna. I can't live off the income from this, which was sad because we loved doing it. But it was a really good learning curve as well, because it was the first. We were started our own little business, and we learnt so much in those few months.
Yes.
And then Kate's family own a menswear and ladieswear shop, actually across the road from our Nantwich shop. And he jokingly said to us at Christmas, "Oh, the underwear shop's for sale. Like, if you two should do that." And Kate rung me and she was like, "Do you want to sell bras?" And I was like, "What?" And I was in town, and I walked and I looked in the window, and I'd never been into this shop, because it did have a reputation of being a bit of an older lady shop, so we say.
Yeah.
And I looked in the window and thought that would be hilarious, like as if we can sell bras and pants. And we came for a look, and that was it. Then it just kind of all happened, and we got the shop 6 weeks before I had my first baby. So that was all a bit of a learning curve. And then we bought the second shop while I was pregnant with my second child. So it's all kind of worked in. It's I've had the babies.
I need more detail. So you bought the shops with stock intact, but it was a little bit of, I remember somewhere in Worthing that had exactly that reputation. It had salmon coloured corsets perhaps in the window and things like that.
Yeah. So it kind of had that kind of reputation of you can always get something in foundations, which is great, which we can still help a lot of ladies, but it generally had the older generation would go. So I'd never been in. People my age kind of wouldn't go in because it just, the staff
so
were all
how did you go about changing things in that 6 weeks before you had your baby?
Well, yeah, we kind of did it because we were both working part-time, because we both had small children. Well, I didn't have them yet, but we were both going to have small children. We've got 10 staff, and we've always had staff that kind of, we couldn't have done it without them. They've been amazing. They've trained us, they've taught us everything we know. So it carried on for quite a while as it had done, and then as we grew in confidence to kind of say, actually, we're going to change that, because a lot of people don't like change, do they? No. So and kind of we had a bit of resistance from some of the customers, but then gradually we just increased a few new brands. So we got like Calvin Klein, and we got kind of different colors, which the windows, it had like carpet, it was all bright, like, so we got rid of the carpet, got flooring in. So we just kind of updated it a bit and made it a bit brighter, and just being younger ourselves, we just got that kind of vibe, and our friends started coming in, and I go to kind of Biz Mums networking meeting with younger people. So it's just kind of evolved with, it's kind of, yeah, just naturally kind of evolved to be younger, but it's been tricky. And
I was going to say, was it easy? Was it scary? How was it?
Very scary. But at the time, it wasn't scary. When I look back and I think, how on earth did I do that? Like, I don't understand. But I'm passionate about challenging myself. That's my passion. I'm not passionate about kind of like certain hobbies or things. I just always like to challenge myself. So I'm always trying new things. And as long as it's challenging me, then I enjoy it. So and Kate's the same. And me and Kate are very different. So she did an art degree and teaching, obviously. She's very creative. She's great at doing the merchandising, the buying, she knows what we should buy. And I've been doing the accounts and kind of the numbers, and I like data, and I like graphs. And so it works really well. And then obviously when we're both on the shop floor, then we can both sell as well. So that it works really well. But yeah, it has been scary, and but it's been exciting, and it's been great the way I would never go back to teaching now. Like it's the best thing I ever did, was to leave. And I just think, I'm just glad I just kind of said yes and went for it.
And do you think in your heart, it's a strange transition from teaching to commerce. Do you think in your heart you were an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah.
Because I think I love new challenges, and I think teaching, it's just all this, it's just relentless and just kind of, there is always new things, and the kids obviously always keep you going and doing new things. But yeah, I think I love kids, and I still kind of, I do miss that side of it. But yeah, this is the challenges this does, and kind of
because if you weren't getting positive feedback and you were absolutely at the top of your game and you were doing your best, but still not getting positive feedback, at least when you're an entrepreneur and you're doing well and you're at the top of the game, and you come up with a new idea and you get feedback from your customers, it's a really good positive loop, isn't it?
It is, and because you're doing it for yourself, it's only yourself that ever tells you that you've not done well. And if you know you've disappointed yourself, then you know that you tell yourself that, and then you think, right, I'll learn from it. Whereas when you're constantly told that as a teacher, you're always pleasing someone else, and you just get a bit kind of disheartened. And
someone else whose job it is to find things that you should be improving. You know, it's a no-win situation, really, isn't it?
It is. I must admit, though, teaching has set me up with a massive variety of skills that like you hear teachers say, I couldn't really do anything else. But actually, teaching, like managing people, I mean, that's been the hardest thing, is managing the staff. But I had experience managing people because I was a senior leader in the school I worked at. Just kind of dealing with children and dealing with people and parents. You use those skills when you deal with customers. Kind of being creative, obviously, like that, kind of creative, making the shops look nice, like when you used to do displays, all the math skills, because I love teaching math, so that kind of all came into it. So there's loads of things that I've used that actually I got from teaching, and I don't regret being a teacher, because I learned so much, and it was good for most of the time. But yeah, you use all those skills, and I haven't had to kind of, I've never felt like teaching was a waste.
No.
It set me up, but yeah.
Are one or other of you always in one or other of the shops? How does it work? Yeah, kind of. So up until recently, we've done kind of half a week each, and we've shared ourselves between the shops. Staffing has been a major issue, and we have learned a lot. We've been kind of burnt a few times with people, but we've learned from it, and it's been horrible at times and really scary, and with certain issues that have come up, but we've learned from it, and we feel like we're on the right path now. So both shops now are staffed so that me and Kate don't have to be there. Yes, perfect.
All the time, because when you're in the shop, we love it. I love being in the shop, and that's when it kind of, you feel amazing, but you can't get anything else done. So,
no. And am I right in saying that when you buy a business, you have to take on the staff that are there?
If it's it's the 2p thing. It's if they've worked there longer than 2 years.
Yes.
Then yes, you are kind of.
Yes. And so, do you still have the ones you acquired, or have some of them moved on?
In the Nantwich shop, we've still got we've still got 3 of the ladies that we acquired.
Okay.
And in the Congleton shop, we haven't got anybody.
Okay.
For various reasons.
So they like the brown carpet.
Yeah, that's well.
They change,
and they're very different. The shops, which is another learning curve. Like they're only half an hour apart, kind of geographically, but it is a totally different place.
You're well done for noticing, because sometimes that's not immediately obvious, is it?
No, and it's taken us till the last kind of 6 months, I would say, to realise that they're not the same. They are totally different, and both buy differently. The customers they have different attitudes. They like different things, and it's.
So you have to stock them differently as well, then.
Stock them differently, yeah, and just kind of deal with the customer slightly differently. Promote the shops differently, do different events in one place than the other place, which again is great, because you can use ideas from one shop that don't work, but they'll work in the other location. And And it's all just about trial and error. I think it's that thing of not being scared to fail, like not being scared to, it's not actually failing, it's just an opportunity to learn. I know that sounds really kind of cliche, but it is. It's just using every kind of thing that happens, then use it as a learning curve and think, right, well, that didn't work. Well, we'll try this next time, or that really didn't work. What on earth did we do that for?
Yes.
And kind of just
so can I just ask, when you bought the shops, then there was a turnover, there was stock, there was an income of sorts, and there was staff there, so you didn't have to be there immediately. Was there quite a lot of due diligence you had to go through in order to buy those things?
Well, probably more than we did. I can say that now, because I didn't really know what due diligence meant, and the solicitor kept telling us, and now I know what it means. So yes, I think there probably should have been a bit more, but we bought the business, and then we bought the stock separately, and we took on the suppliers, and the suppliers were great. They just let us kind of take it on, and kind of they were really good. They just trusted that we would be able to do it, which we have. And in our second location, because we already had the reputation of here, it was easier. Again, we bought this. It was a much smaller shop. We bought the stock and the shop. We've actually moved premises in Congleton, which was quite scary, in September last year, onto the high street, and that was quite scary because it was moving. When we moved, we changed the name because the Congleton shop used to be called the Cheshire Lady, and it had always been the Cheshire Lady, and we changed it to Foundations, and we had quite a lot of people that didn't like that, but we kind of thought we're just going to do it, and it's worked. We've got customers that didn't go to the Cheshire Lady that now come into Foundations, and we've got customers that did come to the Cheshire Lady that still come to us.
Yeah.
How interesting that people care so much about the name of a no offence or anything, but the customers care so much about the name of a shop they shop in.
And you wanted the brand synergy across the two, did you?
Yeah.
Yes, it was just for things. I mean, logistically, things like buying bags and the website, because we haven't got an online web. You can't buy online yet. That is one of the things we're kind of looking at. But it was just means we could have it all in one place, and it just just that brand kind of, it just made sense to do it then. And now we're on the high street. It's a bit.
That must have, yes. I mean, it's scary and the whole branding thing, but then being on a high street must have brought new people in that didn't even know about the other shop, perhaps.
Yeah, because the other shop was like tucked away, and it was a destination. You didn't ever walk past it. So yeah, I mean, being on high street's got its own challenges, because the high street Congleton's got its own kind of challenges, and it's trying to kind of regenerate itself. So quite a lot of the people on the high street may not be our customers, but they're coming in and they're telling people, and we're listening to what they want. And so it's definitely been a positive move, and we'd looked to do that for a while, and it just came up, and we just said yes. I think if you think about things too much, you'd never do anything.
No, I think that's true. Yeah.
I've got another question. So everybody talks about the high street dying and retail dying and everything. You've said that you're going to look at e-commerce side of things. Do you think there's a service to be offered where you Skype call or Zoom or whatever and talk people through how to measure themselves and then send them things to try? Could it be a virtual service as well?
Yeah, I suppose that could be something. It's a really tricky one, because obviously we're all about the fit, and we're all about that personal service, and we offer appointments for people that want to come in. We fit ladies with mastectomy bras, and we have care days. So we're all about that kind of personal service. And then obviously selling online, you just become one of those people that just sell it online. So but the way the world is going, we feel like we can't really not sell online, because we're kind of, I don't know. I know a lot of independent lingerie shops, and most of them sell online. So, but Nicola, that's a really good point. Yeah, it's looking at a way of doing it so that you can still give what you're known for and that reputation and that kind of service. You can still do that, but with the kind of the e-commerce side as well.
You could even sell to someone like me then. So, I could be on a call with someone by appointment and taking my measurements and and then you send me a batch of things, and I keep the ones.
Yeah, but what a faff! A batch has got to come to Greece and then be sent back. And my experience was, when I was fitted, is actually the different brands have different sizings, and they bring you different ones to try, and you don't really know until you get them on. Is that right, Karen?
That's right. And even
I don't think it lends itself to online particularly, except for repeat purchases, perhaps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens. People, and a lot of the suppliers now are actually selling online themselves, which has been a hurdle. I must admit, it's been tricky for us because they know that they can just go online and get it, and obviously the suppliers are supplying us, but then they're selling it themselves.
Yeah, and you're selling a service, really, aren't you?
That's it. And I think that's what we're trying to focus on now, is that it's the products, and it's a set price. We don't make the prices. The price is the price, really.
Yes.
And but we are, for that price, they are also getting us. They're getting me or one of my other members of staff for half an hour, however long it takes to get them exactly what they need. And like you've said, yes, even within a brand, like a 34G in one brand, in one prima donna bra, in another prima donna bra, a 34G wouldn't fit.
No,
it's all about the shape and the style.
Absolutely.
And I think it is that returns thing that's put us off. I must admit, that's put us off, because it is a faff, and it's just the managing of that. So we want to get the shops sorted and kind of,
you've got the stock control area there, haven't you? I mean, Cheshire is known for having lots of very well dressed women with plenty of cash to spend on making sure they get the best.
That's it. Definitely. And it's just trying to attract them into get them in and know what we sell. And a lot of women do not put underwear as a priority because you can't see it. They don't mind spending.
Well, until you've experienced, a cracking bra, you wouldn't either, I don't think.
No, and I think it's they'll spend hundreds of pounds on a coat, but they won't spend £80 on a bra.
Yes.
And you can tell the difference. You can go and get a bra from a high street shop or somewhere for like £15-20, but it won't last you very long, and it definitely won't fit.
Well, you can't just tell the difference; you can see the difference.
Well, yeah, and that's
it. Your coat will fit better if you've got a decent bra on.
Exactly, that's it, and you will just feel better.
I know.
You'll just feel better inside, and it just gives you more confidence, and so we also kind of are all about educating that younger customer as well, because we get a lot of grannies that come in with their daughters and then their daughters' and we're looking at going into schools and educating girls, because girls are needing bras earlier and earlier now, and it's letting them know that they should be fitted from the very beginning and come in and get fitted. And
I think that would have made a lot of difference, actually.
Yeah, and it's not scary. We're not scary in the changing room. It's not a horrible experience, because I think that's something else. Women have this thing, boobs are massive, I don't want to go, and actually we've seen it all. Like, it's nothing's kind of
No, you don't notice people are naked anymore. It's like doctors. I think it doesn't mean, from our perspective, the first time it isn't quite scary, actually, that you've got to take your top off and somebody's going to have a look and then pop off and get some bras and bring them back. Now, listen, this is endlessly fascinating, but we're running out of time, and we haven't said a word which is really important to say yet, and we've got to say it because one of my clients' little boys thinks it's very funny when we say it, and we haven't yet said the word boobs. So I'm saying it for my client's son, who goes, "Oh, Mummy, listen to what they just said on the radio." Yeah. Now, Karen, what else do you want us to know today, if anything? Briefly, she said.
I think just kind of, it's just, I just like to share what I've done, because I think I would never have ever set out to think that I would own a bra shop. When I was younger, never in a million years would I thought that I would own a bra shop and be doing this. And I think it's about, yes, things have happened in my life that have spurred that challenge on, but I think it's just about having the confidence to do things, and don't overthink everything, because if you did, you'd never do anything, and challenge yourself. And another message to all the female listeners is, please go to your local independent lingerie store and get measured and get a good fitting bra, because that's what we all need in our life.
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I'm 37.
You lost your parents very young, didn't you?
I did.
And
yes.
you described that as a sort of pivotal moment.
Yeah. So I didn't have my mum was an alcoholic, so she was never very well for my whole life. So we didn't have a great relationship, and that was kind of more expected, that she was going to kind of probably pass away quite young. But my dad was complete. He was only 55. So yes, it just put, because I was an only child of my dad, so I had to do everything, and it just kind of put everything into perspective. And he left quite a mess, a trail behind him, and it just kind of made me think, oh, I'm killing myself. Yeah, it just is that light bulb moment. I know everyone says they get it, but it definitely was. And I just I want a family. I want to spend time with my family, with my husband, and I need
to crack on. Yeah.
I want to have something that just fits.
But you have a very upbeat, positive, can-do energy, which puts you streets ahead of many.
Yeah, and I think that's it as well. You've got to, I mean, I don't always, some days you get up and you think, oh, what have we done? But you've just got to kind of think no, and kind of definitely that attitude thing. If me and Kate notice that if we're all like, oh, it's not busy and you get stuck in that rut. Whereas if you just think, no, it's going to be all right, we're going to do this, 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 and this, and the shops suddenly start to get busy.
I know. It's energy, vibe.
It is. It definitely is.
I know. You can never stay at home and make that happen in your shop. You've got to go in to make it happen in the shop.
Yeah, and we know if we're in the shops, they definitely.
I know. Same when I was an accountant. Now, could talk to you forever. I'm so pleased we invited you to be on today. We're going to be keeping an eye on your shops. I'd love to probably invite you back later, actually, because it'll be wonderful to hear in a year's time, what you've done to take the shops up still further in the world.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much for inviting me on. Yeah, it's been nice to speak to you.
Well done to you for being brave enough to accept the invitation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Speak soon.
Thanks,
Thank
Karen.
you.
Bye-bye.
Really good. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, she's a fun bird. I love a northerner, me.
Yeah, well, I love it. I just love a business story like that. It's just so inspiring, and I know you get the impression that there must have been so much to learn behind the scenes. But
yes,
which you almost made it sound easy.
I thought she was quite plucky. She was in her 30s. It did feel easier in our 30s, if you remember.
Yeah, probably.
I think you're right about business stories. I think we could open up this guest, thing to people. If you've got an interesting story of how you started in business, come and tell us.
Or just tell us how you started in business. Even the ordinary ones I find fascinating.
Oh, we haven't had a dull one yet. I agree. Everybody's, well, if you like stories, and story is your word of the year, if anything, isn't it? Then, come on. We love you.
Yeah.
You got a word of the week?
Love. It's love this week. I couldn't think of any other word because it's Phoebe's birthday today. It's Greg's birthday today. It was your birthday this week. Everybody I know and love is having birthdays this week.
Oh, cool.
Looking at all Phoebe's babies photos made me go squidgy again. So quite difficult not to be there. But Dad's left her a present under the bed, which she didn't know.
Oh, bless.
And I've already paid for some personal training, so I've already given her. I will obviously pick her up something in duty free as I go through as well.
Yes.
But it's amazing, really. They're all 24. I can't believe it.
I know. As my mother used to say on my birthday, it's 24 years to the day since I've had a bad back all my life. Can you remember the day?
Oh, I can remember every minute of the day.
Yeah.
Really, it never goes away. It really doesn't. It's amazing. And looking at the baby photos, you sort of imagine that you can see the person they're going to become.
Yeah,
I'm sure that happens to you looking at your nieces and nephews' babies' photos as well, and you sort of imbue them with the personality that they're going to develop.
I think I can track back their personalities to quite young, actually.
Yeah. What, when you first saw the glimmer of it?
Well, when I look at them now and see who they are, they were that person quite young.
Yes, it's true. They were.
Yeah.
What's your word then?
Oh, well, it's quite an impressive one, my word, actually. And it was given to me by my friend Susie, who lives in Manchester, who wrote to me on my birthday to remind me, because actually the 4 days in the cottage, you'll remember, was the first 4 days I've had where I didn't have a roof over my own head in 2 years. And she reminded me that she'd offered me a chance to go and stay there between sits if I ever needed it. And I hadn't forgotten them. When I was in Bromley, I thought I was going to have to take her up on it. But the word she used was interregnum, which means an interval or pause between two periods of office or other things. So she said, remember, you can always come to Manchester in any interregnums. And I went, oh, good word. I was looking for one for the podcast, so I should insert it. So interregnum comes courtesy of my friend Susie from Manchester.
And it's in a section that goes between our Focus of the Week and our...
That's right. And actually it does have two meanings. The other one is political, so it's not that one, obviously. It's this one.
Between Kings.
Yes. Quite interesting, interregnum. Well, I think that's where reg would come from, you see, because that would mean king.
Yeah.
Now, okay, project updates. You go first.
Well, I've told you about my writing, so that's that. Podcast downloads back to normal, I'm afraid. So I don't
Nicola, how could you do that to me? How could you get me so overexcited and then we're back?
But, I think the listeners need to know. We're supposed to be honest, remember? Honest and transparent about the realities of doing business on this show. And the realities of doing business are you have moments of excitement when your podcast downloads go through the roof, and then they go back to normal, which is...
Yes, this is true.
So we just have to be, and what do we do, Judith? We just carry on.
We do carry on, yeah. So mine are just, it's a bit like when your favourite person doesn't win on MasterChef or The Voice. You're over it in about 5 minutes, aren't you?
Yeah. It's like nothing makes any difference, really. Nothing really makes any difference to your happiness.
Except you choosing it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a good old meditate this morning when I found myself thinking of starting a new business. I thought, no, I'll meditate instead.
Yeah. Or I could phone Stricty Pants and she'll talk me out of it.
Oh my God, what a funny thing. So because neither of us are starting anything new, we haven't got any project update.
Oh no, I have a project update. I have a second viewing in Worthing. I think either yesterday or today, I'm confused. The estate agents are a bit annoying because they send me this message saying there's a viewing. I hope that's okay. Well, it's only okay if you follow the instructions on your database and phone and organise it with the tenant via the agent that looks after the tenant. But anyway, the point of this story is I've got another Rightmove marketing report. And last week or the week before, I told you it took over 1,000 views on Rightmove to get the first view. And this week's marketing report said we were up to 1,959, which is practically 2,000. So it's about 1,000 views on Rightmove to get a viewing in real life. That's quite a marketing job, as I think I said last week.
Yeah, that very similarly to what we tell everyone.
1 in 1,000?
Yeah, 1 in 1,000.
Oh, well, that's a big job. When you and I started, we didn't have to get 1,000 eyeballs to make a sale.
No. Well, Chris Barrows used to say, didn't he, that if you get 1,000 people who know who you are, what you do, and what you can do for them.
What did he call it? 1,000 raving fans, we used to call it, didn't we?
Well, that was Seth Godin.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 1,000 raving fans is a lot different because you could expect many more sales out of that than what I'm saying here is 1,000 pairs of eyeballs equals 1 viewing.
I've got another statistic for you.
Oh, go.
Sue O'Kell and I have been working together.
Yes.
Well, I did a mail out for Sue O'Kell, and she's been tracking how many people opted.
She told me you got the best result of everybody that she sent it to.
I know, and I
yes,
sent it to 1,100 people because that's how big my mailing list is now.
It's all about engagement, darling. It's all about engagement, isn't it?
Engagement and the nurturing
and the relationship. Yes.
Yeah. So people click through in. Well, 5 times as many from my.
I also think if people have got big lists, but actually then they're just friends of Sue's, they're not actually aligned to what she does for a living, whereas you're known for marketing, you see. People might take a marketing recommendation from you where they wouldn't from the 2 other chaps with big lists that I know that mailed for her.
Yeah, yeah. So that was quite nice. It was nice to know that, I've still got it.
I also think there's another risky strategy to asking people with big lists to mail for you, which is they'll invariably say no because they've planned their marketing broadcast for a year in advance. So you can't say, will you mail for me next week? No, I won't, because it's going to conflict with something I'm marketing myself. You've got to ask them a long time in advance. And none of us, us one-person entrepreneurs are switched on enough for planning our marketing that far ahead.
Yes.
Well, planning anything that far ahead. Sue's business isn't a year old.
Yeah.
She couldn't have planned that a year in advance. Good. So who or what's impressed you?
Well, it's not so much what's impressed me. It's something that I wanted to impress me that didn't.
Oh.
It was the long night battle on Game of Thrones. Now, I was looking forward to this because I thought this is going to be a brilliant tour de force of special effects and impressive epic battles and all that stuff. it was like Luther. You know how dark Luther was when all the action was happening in the dark with no street lights on?
Yes.
It was like an entire episode of Game of Thrones with all the lights turned out.
How weird.
It was very, very strange.
Has anybody else said that?
Yeah, I said to Phoebe, what was that all about? She said, yeah, you needed your night vision goggles for that one, didn't you?
And was it a nighttime battle?
It was a nighttime battle, and there was lots of smoke, and there was lots of, noises off. But all the really impressive stuff happened in the dark. I was squinting at the screen trying to make it out.
I must say, I watch the majority of my TV on my Surface Pro, and the current keyboard that I have doesn't have a turn the brightness up knob, and I can't find out how to turn the brightness up on my screen. Very weird. So I have to sometimes watch, 10% of my TV programming a bit darker than I would like.
Murky.
Yes.
So anyway, Game of Thrones. I mean, it's the last series, and I'm sure it was a very epic battle, but they could have turned the lights up a bit.
Well, I think that's a shame. I wonder if they can tinker with that, because obviously people are going to watch that forever.
Yeah.
And that feedback is worth telling them, because if they could lighten it up a bit, it would be more enjoyable for future consumers.
Yeah, there's been lots of clips and pictures which make it look much lighter and brighter than it actually was.
Oh, that's why I was asking you whether it was your equipment.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't know. I'll have to have another go, won't I?
Yes. Well, I don't think you will, because it's past now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Onward. What about you then?
Oh, well, my niece Claire, who is, if Karen's 30 this year, she'll be 32 in May. She ran a marathon, her first and last, with her bestie Samantha, and it took them 6 hours, and she described it as hard from mile 8. Well, since there are 26 miles, that means 8 from 26 was a lot of hard miles. Yeah. But she raised... Her fundraising target was 4,000. She raised 7.
Wow.
And she knew if she hit her... she raised 9 altogether, but she made 7 on her Just Giving page. And her employer said if she made her target of 4, they would kick in 1,000. That's Barclays Bank. Okay. And altogether, she raised 9,000. And the brilliant thing about her charity, Womankind, is that the government had a special deal with them where for every £1 we raised between us in April, they would match it. So actually, Claire's 9 grand's worth 18,000 to Womankind, which is brilliant. But I did this thing I'd never done before, which is partly what's impressed me, apart from Claire's 26 grueling miles. A Facebook fundraiser. You can do one on your birthday every year. And I thought, well, I don't know why would I do that? So I set a target of 500 quid. I made 322 from 21 or 22 very generous donors, yourself included. It was very much worth doing, and I will do it again next year. And more than that, I will contribute to other people's ones. Now that I know how easy that is and how well it works, so it's another 322 on top of the donation I'd already made to her.
Yeah.
That was good and easy and fun.
And it was nice for me because I knew it was your birthday. I know you don't need anything. I don't know where you live at the moment. So it was a lovely way for me to do something to show you how much.
Yes, and I think it was brilliant timing because the marathon was the day after my birthday, same weekend, and. She's taller than me. She's 6'1". A 6'1" woman shouldn't run a marathon. She had dreadful sort of lower leg difficulties, and I don't know what she thought she was doing really. So I was sort of impressed, but sort of terrified as well. I knew she would complete it because the feeling on the day of the crowd urging you on, unless you're really struggling, it will get you twice as far as you thought you could in training. Anyway, the whole thing, but particularly the Facebook fundraising aspect. I will contribute to more of those, and I will do one every year. I think that was a very worthwhile thing, and I'm quick to diss Facebook, but that worked well, Facebook. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice, and it was very nice. I liked it.
It was easy, and what a great charity she chose as well.
The only thing, my only complaint about that was the PayPal aspect of it. I clicked to pay by PayPal, and it just hung and hung and hung. So I had to go and fish out my credit card. But
that's annoying. That's annoying. Yeah. You're the only person to feed that back. Marianne fed back something interesting, which is she was trying to send me a certain sum of money to take me over the 300, but it cleared as less. And did that mean Facebook took a percentage? Which, to be honest, I've been so busy moving house, I haven't had time to work that out either. But it's always the way, isn't it, that something that looks simple from one end isn't necessarily easy from the consumer end.
No, but you've got to make it as easy as you can.
Well, I mean, every time I see somebody whose birthday it is, to send them a £5 for their fundraiser or even a tenner, depending how flush you're feeling, is easy.
Yeah,
I've never done it before. I will now.
I just turned around and there was a pussycat sitting looking at me.
Oh, lovely.
A tabby, come in the front door.
Oh, lovely.
Try and get your picture.
Cool.
All right then.
All right. Yeah. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. The podcast is called Own It, Your Business and Your Life. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.